Welcome to the Pride of Symbols, a people driven by the passion for excellence and the courage to take on big challenges and see them through. With integrity of mind and systems, our words, structures, and processes are always dependable. We are proud of who we are, what we do, and what we stand for. Firm is our commitment to the vision to build a globally recognized distribution company and to become the key driver of trade revolution across Africa. We have been empowered to make products and services accessible, affordable, and usable across Africa by building an efficient distribution network, and to remain the market benchmark for dynamism, efficiency, and competitiveness. We are rulers. We provide order. With confidence, enthusiasm, and wit we speak. The vulnerable and voiceless we empower. This is me. This is TD Africa. We rule. We conquer. We are Simba.
Digitization simplifies the way we collect data. Organizations collect data from multiple touchpoints to enable them to make effective, profitable, data-driven decisions. Yet, a lot of data just sits there. Why? Well, organizations operate two systems: operational or transaction systems and analytic systems. Operational systems are data repositories where you execute business processes. Analytic systems are where you make sense of your data and evaluate business processes. Analysts spend 80% of their time cleaning and preparing data to update routine reports, and only 20% of their time truly brainstorming on the numbers and extracting insight from that data. The result? Less time to ask the right questions about their data, and less time to pull variable insights that can improve your bottom line. At D. Brown Consulting, we have a better approach. We empower you to extract insights from your data at the speed of thought. We employ a curated methodology that simplifies the analytic build process to eliminate technical friction, making it easier for everyone in your organization to get the exact data they need securely. The best part? All of this can be done without relying on overburdened IT teams. D. Brown Consulting offers consultancy services in building, reporting, and analytics systems. As Microsoft Gold partners, we offer business process automation solutions with no-code and low-code applications, chatbots, and robotic process automation engines, and financial modeling services. We visualize our reports, dashboards, and analytics using the principles defined by the International Business Communication Standards, IBCS. The use of standardized notation eliminates ambiguity and ensures consistency in the design of your visualizations for more effective data storytelling. Are you looking to achieve more with your data? Contact us today. Visit dbrownconsulting.net.
You have a learning goal, and we have just one job to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Hashem Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearson VUE, and PSI. delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in respective industries. Asham Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define success as having the right resources to skill you up to help you meet your desired goals. Our job at Asham Academy is to empower you to be successful at every stage of the learning journey, from training to certification to establishing professional credibility. As a certified learning partner and authorized testing center, our facility has proven to be one of the best in the country as we get to reach the needs of all ages, young, middle-aged, and those in the advancing years, making learning simple and affordable. We care about your skill development, and without breaking the bank, we present you with great opportunities to showcase your competency and expertise in your area of specialty, aiding career advancement or personal goals tracking. Let's help you bridge that learning gap. All you have to do is take the next step to enroll in our courses today with prices that are easy on your wallets. Request access to our training calendar by emailing training@asham.com, and you can also get the most of your learning investments by checking out our promotional offers here. offers.asham.com/ms learning. You can call 0704 636 7151 or call 0704 576 9927. You can visit our head office at number 9 Ibikule Street off Abad Macaulay Way, Yaba, Lagos State.
kò ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé ọmọ ọba ní kò ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé kò ṣẹ̀wọ̀n.
Ó yá akéde mo fẹ́ délé bàbá tó bí lọ́mọ.
Ọmọ ọba ní kò
Bàbá
ṣẹrú.
mi ò gbànígbà ní ojú ọ̀nà ó ṣe gbọ́n. Kò sọ́gìrì lágìrì ọ̀làgìrì kàkà. Àkọ́kọ́ arẹ́rẹ́ o. Bàbá mi ò wọ kẹfẹ̀rẹ̀ jíjọ. Jagunmọ́ lòdì ọ̀rọ̀. Àpáńlá ti jó tán.
We're having some technical delay from our end. So we move down to today's topic, we all know, is about design and implement a release strategy. The speaker for today is supposed to be Mr. Raphael, but unfortunately, he's experiencing some technical issues in terms of network challenge. So I am standing in for him without wasting much time because we have already lost over 22 minutes. Let's quickly jump into this design and implement a release strategy is all about. I will go over the module 4 of the AZ400 Azure DevOps learning part. So you can always refer to that in Microsoft Learn. We always refer people there because that is the only resource that can guarantee your passing the AZ400. So first of all, we need to understand what this is and what it's not. In DevOps, which has to do with the union of people, resources, and everything to arrive at your release at your DevOps goal. If you are transitioning for a new one, then the module overview that we're going to do today, the PowerPoint slide is quite lengthy. We're going to do what we can do and continue next time from where we stop. So introduction to continuous delivery. Lesson 1, that is lesson 2. We are going to explore the different strategies and recommendations that we need. Build a high quality release pipeline. Introduction to deployment patterns. Implement blue-green deployment and feature toggles. Implement canary release and dark launching. So without wasting much of our time, because we've really lost some couple of minutes. So we move down to what explore traditional development cycle. Like a few years ago, we all know that IT was a facilitating department. IT was there to support the business users, and because time had proven that developed software had bad quality by default, software changes were a risk. So a fair number of hot fixes and change requests for production were there. Many scope changes during a project, lots of unplanned work due to technical debt, environment drift, poor quality, and handoffs. Business involved, but not attached to IT. So, what after all these challenges that the traditional business environment actually the traditional IT face, there was need for a system that will make this system faster and that will release some of that will reduce some of the technical debt that was incurred and all that. And that system was no other system than DevOps. So if you look at if you look at this picture of a traditional siloed based value stream, we see box and unplanned work, and there was a kind of necessary update or support work and plan, and all added to the team backlog. And this a kind of draw back in terms of meeting up with the customer demands and proving that your business can your business can really deliver on their promises. So there was a huge drawback. So now that takes us back to now to the age of DevOps, and you had some word like continuous delivery. Now, what this continuous delivery means is what we are going to look at. We understand this continuous delivery, that otherwise known as CD, as a set of processes, tools, and techniques that you put together, you put together to rapidly and reliably deliver and deploy software to customers. Now, the screen that we have there, the process for releasing, deploying software must be repeatable and reliable. You cannot in terms of in this day and in this day of a kind of a agile project management system, a kind of strategy, you cannot do without introducing some levels of iteration into your system. So it was something that it is something that continuous delivery has given to us, for us to be able to go back on improvement and all that. Keep everything in source control. Now you can no longer you can no longer keep your code, your software code within your local system, because that was done when there was no this thing, when there was nothing like DevOps. That DevOps has come up. We there's now a system in place, delivery. And if you keep everything in source, every possible responsibility for the release process. Done means release. So once you are doing, you are a kind of, if something is difficult or painful, do it more often, automate everything, then build quality in. This is just the principles of continuous delivery. Do not mix the term continuous integration and continuous delivery. They are separate terms. It is CI, continuous integration, first before. So you must make sure that you are able to do that and all that. So let's do another slide. We have some to read about. To explain this concept more, this principle more, you need to, it means that that continuous delivery goes beyond the release of software through a pipeline. The pipeline is a crucial component and the focus of this course, but continuous delivery is more. Yes. So it's not about delivering the software alone. It's about you staying in tune with your customer and be able to meet up with, and also curbing a kind of testing, deploy a kind of testing strategies, or fixing bugs as I went due, and trying to do that so that the thing will do. So continuous delivery is an enabler for DevOps. DevOps focuses on organizations and bringing people together to build and run their software products. So there's also more aside just running your software. So let's go to the next slide that has to do with, now, how do you move to continuous delivery? So now you have to, first of all, you have to plan first. But time has changed now. If you look at it, we need to deal with the new normal. Our customers demand working software, and they wanted it a kind of, the way they wanted it yesterday wasn't like now. If you cannot deliver, then go to a competitor. The competition is fierce in terms of, with the internet, we always have global competition. In terms of, there are a lot of people that can deliver more than you. So if you refer to a kind of key into the edge of DevOps, you will be left out. Then in this place now, what you need to do is to plan. Planning comes in that, and realize why you need to deploy a particular strategy for your DevOps. And also you have to release whatever you have been planning so far. And when after release, you need to monitor it and learn what comes after you have deployed. It's like the site reliability engineers, because comes into where after this thing have been released, they will do the monitoring and learn the process if this software is serving the purpose in which it is meant to serve, and is it delivering value. They also analyze that aspect, because whatever your customer looks for is the value that at the end of the day you're able to deliver to them. They want to derive value in whatever they do with you. So that's what you need to do and all that. So please, if you have any question, let's let me get it answered as we are moving. So the time is already fast spent. We do not have much. So that is that for when you're trying to move to continuous delivery. That for now. Then according to we move to another slide that has to do with understand releases and deployment. One of the essential steps in moving software more quickly to production is changing how to deliver software to production. Now, release and deployment are often coupled. Release is not the same as deployment. Then separate functional release from technical release. Functional release is exposing features to customers. Technical release is deploying functionality. Take note of these two words. Like when we talk about releases and deployment, we see that commonly used tools deal differently with the terminology as we did in terms of trying to do. So to understand the concept and technical implementation of many tools, you need to know how to vendors define the difference between a release and deployment. A release is a package or container containing a fashioned set of artifacts specified in a release pipeline in your CI/CD process. When you are defining, like you are writing your own, you are defining your release pipeline. There are some your artifacts in the body of your artifact. Even if artifact here simply means an object in which you are a deployable object. It could be made of a particular programming language. Whatever you can deploy to your pipelines is what artifact simply means. So we have what is the need for continuous delivery in your organization is what? What do you need? What are the needs that you need here? You need to ask yourself some of the questions that before you can plan in moving to this thing. So another thing before I jump into this one fully, I was talking about this other stuff. I talked about separate functional release and technical release. So when we want to separate the technical and functional release, we need to start with software itself. The software needs to be built so that new functionalities or features can be hidden from end users while it is running. So you don't just bring the new functionalities and expose it. A common way to do this is to use feature toggles. Yes, the simplest form of a feature toggle is an if statement that either executes or doesn't execute a certain piece of code. By making the if statement configurable, you can implement the feature toggle. We will talk about this in the future. So let's move down to, as we read to understand this, go to know how this works. And the need for continuous deployment. Ask yourself, does the organization need a continuous delivery? Do you need Agile or Scrum? Is everybody involved or only the dev department? Can you deploy your application multiple times per day? Why or why not? What is the main bottleneck for continuous delivery in your organization? It could be the organization itself. It could be application architecture, because some organizations are not ready for it. It could be one of the bottleneck. And if the organization are not ready for it, so there's no need for you to venture into it because it will not work. Then the application architecture, some of them are monolithic. They are not decoupled application and may not fit into the DevOps planning that you are doing. Then skill, do you have skill workers? Do you have the essential tool in place? Do you have the testing tools? Do you have team that can, the QA team, are they set? Then other things can also set in. These are all what you need to understand or put in place before you can successfully deliver before you can be successful in your continuous delivery journey. So explore release strategy recommendation. Then explore release strategy recommendation. Now the pipelines is that we have the artifacts. Like you can see that this is a level of stages that we have while deploying our software. We have the dev test. We have, this is the organization. This is like the okay. This is the source code where the version control where your code is. Then we have a dev test. We have the QS and the production. So these are the way you can build your pipelines around these stages. We are going to get to see that. We are going to, if time permit us, to touch the demo section. Then the explore artifact sources. What you do here is for you to build artifact, package repository, container repositories, source control. So going into this one, choose the appropriate artifact source. You have to consider before choosing it traceability and auditability, immutability and versioning. So now, like we all know that in terms of the way I used to do, I think GitHub is one of the best version control in terms of where you can host all the things you need. Oh, the artifact source. You need to probably know where and what to do. If you are choosing a particular this thing, is it traceable or is it immutable and all that? Is it fashion? Is it fashionable? Can it be fashioned to meet your needs and all that? So now we get to learn about another one. Now the demo is that we have some demo section here. Setting up deployment stages. Understand the delivery cadence and 3 types of triggers. Now, in this place, in your Azure DevOps environment, you need to define that using your pipelines, your Azure pipelines, the stages, and all that. So we will go into that if we will get to the demo section. Understand the delivery cadence and 3 other. Then continuous deployment trigger, schedule trigger, and manual trigger. These are what you need to also understand. Let's explore some of the stuff that we have here. Now, yeah, was okay. This is where I am. So, selecting your delivery and deployment cadence. Now, explore release approvals. Release approvals are not to control how, but control if you want to deliver multiple times a day. Then another one is all the demo section. We are not going to touch them because of our time, and you can always refer back to maybe at the end of the day we are going to drop the link to this demo section and also take you through on some of them that we can. Manual approvals help in building trust about the automated release process. Sometimes you can go through the manual approval and all that. Release gates give you additional control over the start and completion of the deployment pipeline. They can usually be set up as a pre-deployment and post-deployment condition and can perform validation with other automated systems until specific requirements are verified. Release gate, like the name implies, there's something like it's something that is put a condition that is put in place, a condition that can be put in place to ensure that when in your pre-deployment, this software that you deploy constantly check the code are checked in stages before being released. There should be some checks in place that you have that can check if a particular code quality can pass or not. So that is what release gate can help you to do. And they can come in form of pre-deployment. That is, they can come in that under continuous integration stage and can also come in the post-deployment stage. Demonstration, setting up manual approvals, explore release gates. Now, release gates gives you additional control over the completion of they are often set up as a pre-deployment and post-deployment. Now they also help you check incident and issues management. They also help you to check user experience relative to baseline, notification of users by integration with collaboration system, change management, quality validation, infrastructure health, security scan on artifacts. So these are what ReleaseGate can help you to do. I think there are some specialized tools for that can do this. That is like some of the testing tools, like in Java, there are in Python we have the PyTest, and Java, I think Jacoco or another one like that. So I'm building a high quality release pipeline. Understand release process versus release. The release process involves all the steps that you go through when you move your artifact that comes from one of the artifact sources. Artifact sources are like the way your software code is stored. Like could be version control like GitHub. It could also be with Azure. With Azure DevOps, you can deploy your code directly from your local system to the Azure dev repo directly on Azure DevOps platform. So that's how it can be. So you can check within the week for the demo section. I believe the core speaker for today, Mr. Raphael, is going to work on the demo section and post them. Or there will be a demos on our Medium page community. The community has a Medium page that technical articles, demo sections are being written to, and you can always get your hands there so that you'll be able to familiarize yourself with what we do. So that is that for now. So we will move down to a release is a package or container that holds a version set of artifacts specified in a release pipeline in your CI/CD process. It holds all the information required to carry out all the tasks and actions in the release pipeline, such as stages or environment. The environment you talk about could be the dev test, the QA test, and the production environment. So the tasks for each one values of task parameters. The release policies such as triggers, approvals, and release queuing options. There can be multiple releases from one release pipeline or release process. Remember, so these are what you need to just know. So explore how to measure quality of release process. Analyze your release process, and also symptoms of broken process every day, every second day, only after the run, never ending up in last stage. Dashboard widgets. So these are the dashboard you can explore your release processes. In terms of these are the branch of where your artifact are stored, and you can measure you can extract your test your quality through test. If you can see that there's a flag in one of the spots which signify red, so that red means that there's something wrong in your quality in your. So use release get to protect quality. No new blocker issues. That's what you can. And also cover code coverage on new code greater than 80%. Then it can also help you to do no license violation. You can check that. No vulnerability in dependencies. No new technical debt interest. Technical debt is in your exam. If you are sitting for AZ 400, maybe on your own, you see that technical debt the only way you can overcome technical debt is to reduce the code quantity and check for bugs and fix them. So those are the things you can do. And also, is the release started by someone else as a code committer? Is the performance not affected after a new release? So these are the things you need to also ask yourself. So now, examine release notes and documentation. Technical or functional documentation, where to store documentation. You can store them in document store, wiki, in the code base, or in a work item. So all these ones are what you should explore. You're going to just go to examine considerations for choosing release management tools. Now we have artifact and artifact source, triggers and schedules, approval and get, stages and release tags, traceability, auditability, and security. These are what you also need to explore. Then explore common release management tools. We all know that GitHub is the popular place. You can see that GitHub has GitHub Action, Azure Pipelines has Azure Pipelines, Jenkins, we have Jenkins, Cycle-C, we have Cycle-C, GitLab Pipeline, we have from GitLab, then Atlassian Bamboo, we have the Bamboo from Atlassian, and all that. So these are the release management tools that you need to also get yourself familiar with as a DevOps engineer and all that. So we now have, because of our time, let's see lesson 4 is introduction to deployment patterns. And under this introduction is continuous delivery is more than release management. Yes, deployment is only one step. Testing safe code architecture. In terms of when you are deploying your code, like I said before that the continuous integration will come before continuous deployment. At the continuous integration stage, you need to verify that the code quality is okay at that early before you can before you can implement continuous delivery stage. Now, the testing is not just ending in your continuous deployment. In fact, testing goes from your dev environment, from your continuous integration down to continuous delivery and deployment. That's how testing should be. It's not like when you test today at this stage, you're testing it. No. So we have monolithics. Monoliths are hard to deliver because of all dependencies. Now you need to break up in smaller pieces. That's when microservices comes in. Gone are the days where you have to wait for one to finish before another code can be written. Nowadays you have to implement a kind of utilize containerized solution like Kubernetes and Docker, break your code smaller quantities and run them in bits. So that's what you need to do. Then explore microservices architecture. You can see that everybody has this further broken down, and everybody can participate in the work or whatever you're doing. So that's how they function. You can study more. These are if you look at the diagram, this is this is a kind of monolithic diagram. The first diagram. Then if you now implement what a kind of microservices, you can see that everybody, you have further broken down your app, the component to several stages that will help you in your continuous delivery journey. So that's how you need to do. You can learn more about it on your own. Then we have the examine classical deployment patterns. The classical deployment patterns simply move from dev, test, staging to production. So at the dev stage is where your developers are actually writing the code. Then we have the testing, where your quality assurance officers, engineers comes in and test the quality. Then the staging stage and the production stage, to me, they are similar, because at the staging, before your software can get to the staging stage, it means that it can run. The staging stage is just to enable you to test the code, the product in-house, the software in-house, and ensure that it is working perfectly before you can now push it to the production stage, whereby you make it available to your users. So that's what this is all about. So understand modern deployment patterns. We have blue-green deployment, canary releases, dark launching, A/B testing, and what's it called, progressive exposure deployment, ring-based deployment. And I'm going to take the blue-green option. You can explore other ones. Like the blue-green simply means that if you look at before, blue-green will enable you to have to easily roll back your application. Like if you deploy a application into 2 stages, you can have one to be in production, or maybe if you deploy it to a certain stage, and as in once you have decoupled your application, they will come. The blue green will help you to, maybe if one of the application is not working well at a level of your, maybe based on your upgrade, you just did an upgrade, you can deploy it to the blue green the deployment, and it will enable you to like a kind of switch back to the other stage. Let's quickly get to really understand what blue green can do. If you look at it, if you install changes to maybe let's say the blue stage, and that changes start to misbehave, you can quickly switch back to like green deployment using the green deployment method. And it also helps in reducing downtime, in terms of, because there'll be no time that the application will be down, in terms of, because whenever one part of the application is down, you can always switch back to the other one. So I think you can consider blue green as a technique which helps you to reduce the kind of downtime and risk by running 2 identical production environment called blue and green. Then this happen in production stage. Mind you, blue green takes place in production stage. So just as you have in the what is it called, in the classical product release stage, whereby you have everything under this production, you can actually split it to and have the blue green the deployment option there, whereby if you have a kind of update, you can update it to the blue to the stage called the blue, then the green will be there. Once you look at the diagram here, once you update a changes to one stage, the other one will be off. Then if there's anything that happen, you can switch back to the other one. That is the green stage. So that is how it is. Then we move down to another stage. You can study other ones. Discussion, a kind of a critical look at your architecture. Are your architecture and the current state of your application software ready for continuous delivery? Topics you might want to consider are: is your software built as one big monolith, or is it divided into multiple components? Yes, you need to ask if your software is just a monolithic software that cannot be broken into multiple components. Can you deliver parts of your application separately? Yes, like we said, with the kind of blue-green deployment, you can you realize that you can deploy some part of your, in fact, with the concept of microservices as a whole, you can deploy some part of your software separately, while others are also maybe under maintenance or still in the development stage. Can you guarantee the quality of your software when deploying multiple times a week? How do you test your software? Do you run do you run one or multiple versions of your software? And can you run multiple versions of your software side by side? So these are the things you need. What do you need to improve to implement continuous delivery? So, like now in your own demo section, you need to learn about how you can deploy this. You see that the blue-green thing has to do with you have a blue and green now. You can easily swap, let's say production.com, same, yes. Normally the other one will come as a subdomain to the main domain of your to the main URL of your app. So that's how you can get through this. So I've already explained this concept. So now is explore deployment slots, a way to set up multiple environment and swap between environment. Now, when you in Azure App Service, we have, when you're deploying your app, we have a place called deployment slot. In that deployment slot, you can create different environment, which starting from staging. Normally we put like 2, because you must have written your own artifact or software code somewhere and have it ready. So what you need to do is just to like deploy it to create a two environment. This one deployment slot, maybe production and staging stage and the production stage. So now if you push your code to production and finding that, oh, there's a bug in it, you can easily swap with deployment slots, swap it to the staging stage and be able to quickly fix it and take it back. Why do you need it? When you want to deploy with zero downtime, when you need to test in production, when you want easy rollback, yes. The swap process, when you deploy your app with seamless traffic redirection and no requests are dropped because of swap operations. So that's what this can help you to achieve at the end of the day. So much our time, we do not have much time. So as the main speaker for today has said, Mr. Ravel, we're going to go through our Medium page. As the community has a Medium page, we also have our LinkedIn page. If you are yet to also connect with us on those platforms, we will ask, we employ you to go and do that, maybe connect, so that you can stay tuned with our updates and events that are coming up. So thank you very much for joining us for today. Mind you, the video that this recording session remains in our YouTube channel. You can always refer back to it and ensure that you get your hands dirty. The easy money, which is the concept of our community, is still real. So thank you very much for your time and have a very good weekend and enjoy your day. Bye.